Today, we're going to talk about something that is so incredibly relevant right now: how the actual design of your home can be your secret weapon for finding that work life balance. When your home is also your office, you need more than just a spare room with a desk. You really need a house that's engineered to help your brain switch gears. So, let me just ask you something that I think a lot of us will get. Does your workday really end when you finally shut your laptop? Or are you still kind of thinking about those emails when you're trying to fall asleep? For so many people, that line is just completely gone. And that's the real problem, isn't it? That physical commute, the drive or the train ride that used to be a natural reset button between work life and home life, well, for a lot of us, it's just vanished. And without that transition, our brains can get stuck in work mode, which leads to serious burnout. You end up feeling like you're always at the office, even when you're in your pajamas. Okay, so how do we start to design a solution for this? Well, let's start with the most obvious fixes: building actual physical boundaries that create a real, tangible separation between your work and your life. Here's a really powerful idea. What if you could build a commute right into your floor plan? Imagine a dedicated hallway, and the only thing at the end of it is your office. As you walk down that hall in the morning, you're mentally gearing up for work. And when you walk back at the end of the day, you're symbolically leaving it all behind. It's a simple walk, but it's a huge mental shift. But what if you don't have that kind of space? A brilliant solution is something called the pocket office. It's this super compact, really efficient workspace that you can completely hide behind some cool panels or doors. So when 5 o'clock hits, you just close it up, and the office literally disappears. And this taps into a really simple but powerful psychological trick: out of sight, out of mind. Seriously, if your computer and your to-do lists aren't staring you in the face while you're trying to unwind, your brain is way less likely to get pulled back into work mode. Now, for anyone building on a sloped property, the land itself can create an amazing boundary. With a walkout basement office, you physically go down into your professional world each morning. Then, when you come back upstairs at the end of the day, you're literally rising back into your family life. That simple change in elevation creates a surprisingly powerful sense of separation. And then, of course, there's the gold standard for separation: the detached studio. We're talking a totally separate, small building in your yard. You actually have to put on shoes, walk outside, and unlock a different door. It's the most literal way to leave work behind and create an undeniable barrier between your two worlds. So just to quickly recap these physical ideas, you've got the commute hallway for that mental transition, the pocket office to make the workspace vanish, a walkout basement that uses elevation to create distance, and the detached studio, which is, well, the ultimate physical barrier. Each one is a great tool. It just depends on your needs and your property. Okay, so physical separation is one huge piece of the puzzle. But what about the more subtle things like the sounds of family life or the light creeping in? Next, let's talk about mastering your sensory boundaries. This part is so important. You can't really leave work if you can still hear it, right? So this is where we use specific architectural tools. Think soundproofing insulation inside the walls, heavy solid core doors, and even these little drop seals that close that tiny gap under the door. It's all about making that room an acoustic bubble. Light can also be programmed to work with your brain's natural rhythms. So day mode in the office could use a cool blue-toned light, which is proven to boost alertness. Then after 5 p.m., the rest of the house automatically shifts to evening mode, a warm amber glow that literally signals your brain that it's time to chill out and relax. And this idea of changing scenes can even apply to what you see out the window. It's a concept called biophilic design. For instance, you could give your office a really focused view, like a small, calm garden, to help you concentrate. And then you give your living room a totally different, wide-open view. When your eyes see a different scene, your mind starts to think different thoughts. So we've talked about physical walls and sensory barriers. But now let's go a little deeper. Let's look at how architecture can be designed to create rituals, these subtle cues that can trigger some really powerful psychological shifts. A huge idea here is creating a closing ceremony. And this isn't just some mental exercise, it's a physical, repeatable action that your home's design actually makes possible. It could be as simple as turning off one specific light and closing a really heavy, solid door that gives a satisfying click. That sound alone tells your brain the day is officially done. Even a mudroom can be transformed into a powerful tool for this. Just picture this ritual. You come in through the mudroom, your little transition chamber. You put your laptop, your bag, everything work-related into a designated locker.
You physically shut the door on that locker, and then you enter the main house mentally clean from the day's work.
These cues can be even more subtle than that. Think about what's literally under your feet. A transition from, say, a cool, sleek tile in the office to a warm, plush carpet in the hallway is a subconscious signal. Your feet feel the difference, and that tells your brain that you've crossed a boundary into a new zone.
Here's a really cool newer trend in wellness architecture, the decompression zone. It's just a small, intentional space between the office and the rest of the house. Maybe it just has a bench or a small water feature. Its only purpose is to make you pause for just 1 minute, take a breath, and reset before you rejoin your family.
Now, a quick but really crucial piece of advice: where not to put an office. Let's call these the danger zones. The kitchen is one, it's just too loud and distracting, but the absolute worst place is the bedroom. Your bedroom should be a sanctuary for rest, period. Blurring that line is the fastest way to wreck both your work and your sleep. So when you boil it all down, the goal of all these design ideas is to create two completely separate flows in your home, one for your workday and one for your personal life. This is what allows you to really focus when you need to focus and truly relax when it's time to relax, without the two worlds constantly bleeding into each other. Ultimately, all these strategies point to a whole new way of thinking about your home. It's not just a place to live. When it's designed with this kind of intention, it becomes a real tool for building a more balanced life. It's about consciously creating your own sanctuary. I love this quote because it really captures the whole philosophy here. Your home shouldn't just be pretty, it should work for you. It should be an active partner that helps you live the life you actually want. And that is the key takeaway. When a home is built with this kind of thoughtfulness, when the zones are clear, when the lighting supports you, it stops being just a building. It becomes a genuine partner in your quest for that ever-elusive work-life balance. So we'll leave you with this to think about. This isn't just about picking floor plans and paint colors. The real question is, how will you design your home to actively support the life you truly want to live?